Ram presents The Canadian Tradition.
On this week's episode, we're in Eastern Ontario going after wild turkey. And this is a pretty cool episode. It's not just your typical turkey hunt. Last year I had the opportunity to donate a hunting and a fishing trip to the North American Wildlife Enforcement Officers Association. And one lucky hunter, Al Stewart, was able to purchase this trip, and he's heading into the field with us. It's gonna make for a great adventure.
The Canadian Tradition is brought to you by Ram, built to serve. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Polaris, the world leader in off-road. Steel, get the job done. Winchester, the American legend. Loophole, be relentless. Toyo Tires, driven to perform. Lund Boats, the ultimate fishing experience. WeatherTech, nothing protects like WeatherTech. And by Ducks Unlimited Canada, our wetlands, our future.
When most people think about turkey hunting, they're gonna opt for that classic kind of trip, which is going out and roosting those birds the night before, pinpointing where they're at, going in there in the wee morning hours, getting set up, watching those birds fly down and make their way into the decoy. That can surely work, and you've seen it done in the past. One of the things I'd like to do is kind of like to sleep in a little bit and then go out and pursue those birds mid-morning to mid-afternoon. I really find that given this time of year, the second week in May, that in most cases, as soon as those hens hit the ground this time of year, those toms are gonna come over, they're gonna go through the breeding ritual, then those hens are gonna go and lay on their nest. What's that mean? Well, that means you've got a bunch of big long beards strutting around looking for a receptive hen. So when you can intercept or get in front of a lone longbeard at this time of year, it'll make for a fantastic hunt. When you're going into places this time of year, one of the things I really like to do is put some miles on, whether that be in the truck or on my boots. What I'm trying to do is find an active tom. Now, sometimes a tom will come in real quiet, and you've seen it happen. I think Adrian took a bird this year. That tom didn't make a peep. He just came in real nice and quiet. What I find is if you can use a bunch of different calls, whether that be a box call, slate call, or a diaphragm call, you can really get a response from an active gobbler. Depending on the day, you can have one tom on a certain property. One day he'll be really responsive to a box call. The next day it's maybe a slate. The next day it's maybe some soft purrs on a diaphragm call. So carrying 3 calls allows you to make 3 different hen sounds, and you can really fine tune what that tom really wants. Well, it's approaching late morning right now, and I'm telling you, we got our butts absolutely whooped this morning. But you know, the old saying is a bad day in the field is still better than a good day's at work. So we're not gonna give up. We're gonna head in here and try to get a midday tom. Nothing yet, but we'll keep going. Being the second week of May and having so much foliage on the trees, it allows me to be a little bit more aggressive in getting close to that longbeard. If If you can get within that critical distance, get all set up nice and quiet without alerting that bird, and give a few calls, get that bird to respond, chances are he's gonna come those 100 yards and investigate. One of the things that really allows me to be successful this time of year is getting creative with my decoy placement. It's all about breeding. So if you can imitate a breeding setup where that Jake is right over top of that hen decoy, as soon as that Tom sees that, it's just gonna infuriate him that some little Jake is getting breeding rights over one of his hens. And if you can surprise a Tom with that setup, most of the time they come in hook, line, and sinker. It's like prime tit country. Oh man, he's gobbling. He's gobbling his head off. Get this loaded up. He's gobbling. Sounds like he's coming in fast. Okay, I see him. I can see his fan. Yes! Did that ever work out just perfect? We came in here and that bird sounded so far away. He had to be well over 200 yards away, probably closer to 300, way down in those hardwoods, and changed up the calls, found a call that he wanted to respond to, and brought him in like hook, line, and sinker. That bird didn't stand a chance. He didn't even know we could have stood up right here because he was fixed on those decoys. And probably, well, I can tell you how far he was. Not far. 12 yards away. Whew. Way to complete my turkey season. Boy, does that happen quick. I tell you, here we are, the second week of May. I think this is as long as I've gone into the turkey season, still having a tag in my pocket. But that turkey's, that Big Tom's what, 3 yards from that mating setup. Let's go over and check him out. That turned out perfect. Beautiful, beautiful spring day. Nice Big Tom here. Oh, his heavy bird. Finally, the first week of the season, it was rainy and dreary. And I tell you, it's totally different today. The sun's out and just a beautiful day to spend in the woods. Beautiful bird. Look at that. Awesome Tom. Beautiful fan. He's got probably a 8-inch beard. Second week of May, you find a lone Tom and put out a decoy setup. That's actually a real standing feeding Primos hen, but I opted not to put the stake in her and tucked her right underneath that Primos Jake. And basically that simulates a hen that's actively getting bred by a Tom. And when this bird came around the corner and came out of that woodlot into this field and sees that decoy setup, it takes a lot of willpower for a bird to refuse that. He came in hook, line, and sinker, and we probably got him 12 yards off the end of that Winchester. What a beautiful, beautiful bird right there. I was lucky in that both of my hunts I had Toms displaying, coming in, I mean 15 yards off the end of that Winchester. When you can take two birds like that in one season, back to back, it's definitely a season for the books. Getting into this next part of our trip, I was really excited to spend some time in the field with Al Stewart.
Well, I'm Al Stewart, retired from the Ministry of Natural Resources. I started when it was called the Department of Lands and Forests. At that time, I joined permanent staff as a wildlife biologist. I retired in 1997, and since that time, I've basically been hunting and fishing and enjoying myself.
I'm a big believer in that whenever you can spend time in the field with a seasoned pro, and especially a veteran in the fish and wildlife field, I mean, it's basically like picking up an encyclopedia for the outdoors. Al was one of the key people that assisted with the reintroduction of wild turkeys here in Ontario.
Well, we got them in the right habitat, and the turkeys themselves are survivors. The turkeys are great mothers. They take good care of their chicks, and they've just shown that if you give them a chance and give them a little bit of habitat, they'll take care of themselves, and they're doing that well right across this province.
So to bring Al on a turkey hunt, I mean, really put a special emphasis on this trip, because when I was a kid growing up, there was no spring hunting. So to spend time in the field with a man that really had hands-on experience with bringing these birds and bringing the opportunity to all of Ontario was so special for me. Al's hunt set up kind of the opposite of mine, and it was just your classic turkey hunt. We got up at ungodly hours in the morning. I think this time of year, we've got to be up around 3:30. It was raining, and what did we find here in Eastern Ontario? A beautiful horse stable. I've had the opportunity to do quite a bit of hunting out of many different types of ground blinds, but hunting out of a straw horse stable, this was definitely a first.
Being in a shelter with hay bales to sit on was a little bit of luxury that mixed in with all the other great things that were going on.
I have carried around a camouflage netting in my backpack for years, and I've never had to bring it out. Well, this morning, it finally paid off. In the miles that I've carried this mesh, I mean, it was going to be put to good use. We strung it up across the front of that horse stable. We're in behind there, beautiful straw bales to lay back on. Now this was a 5-star turkey hunt.
Well, I've been on many turkey hunts, but I've never been on as classic a turkey hunt as this one. Right from the start, this was a beauty where they took the calling to bring the turkeys in, and they didn't want to come in. It was persistence, and they didn't respond for a while, and then they showed up in the field.
Okay, do you see those toms?
I see them. They're coming around now.
I'll get a range on them for you. Okay, the 3 of them are at 67.
All right.
Just too far.
All right.
Okay, there's one coming right into the decoys.
Yeah, I got him.
The decoys moved them right into range, and we had a successful shot.
Nice, Al.
He's down.
Beauty.
He's
Right
down.
on. Well, I didn't think that was going to happen this morning. Those 3 toms, when they came around the point, they obviously saw something. I mean, I think that was the dominant bird.
The hen brought him in, there's no doubt about that.
Let's go check your bird out.
All right. Well, he's not moving. All right.
Nice bird, Al. He's a little bit waterlogged, but
Oh, he's a beauty, isn't he?
let me see what he's.
He's a beauty.
Oh, he's over
yeah.
20.
Oh, he's a beauty. Oh, yeah.
Full tom.
Yeah.
Nice beard
Nice
on
beard
him.
on him. Beauty.
I figured if we sat here till 7:30, that sooner or later they were going to work out, and
Well, you were right. You were right.
those hens led him into his demise.
They were pretty nervous. It was the hens brought him in. No question about that.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
to
awesome.
it.
We'll get them
Yeah,
tagged
very
up,
good.
processed, and we'll head out and get you some beautiful crappies.
Ah, good stuff. Couldn't be
Awesome
better.
bird, Al.
Yeah, couldn't be better.
I mean, here we are. It was a 3-day turkey hunt completed in an hour and a half, day 1. And Al's going to walk out of here with a memory of this trip that he's going to be able to watch and view for a long time.
I would say of all the turkey hunts I've had, this is sort of the most traditional, classic turkey hunt that involved all the ingredients associated with turkey hunting. So it was absolutely great.
Another thing I really get excited about this time of year is obviously spring fishing. I've had the opportunity to fish right across Canada, but one of the species that I keep finding myself getting pulled back to is spring crappie fishing. To be able to spend some time in the boat with Al in an afternoon and show him kind of my techniques on crappie fishing, I think he was going to enjoy the day and walk away with a few pointers. Minnows are great, leeches are great. This time of year when you're just trying to find them, like they haven't moved up to their spawn bays, those little tiny crankbaits that you'll think is too big for a crappie to hit, you'll think, there's no way that you're gonna hit that. Like, I'll work a shoreline, and then as soon as you catch one, then you get on the electric and start narrowing your search and you'll find them. Just even a slow, steady reel, and you'll just feel a little dink, like it'll just tap it.
Fish on?
It might be weeds.
No, good for you. First fish, $1.
$1 right there, actually $3. First most so far and the biggest.
And the biggest, for sure.
They're a gorgeous fish.
They are.
Oh, there you go.
Bugger, stay on.
There you go. Wow.
All right. Okay.
There, I've lived up to it.
It's
You've
a
got
fish.
a crappie, you've got a turkey.
Yeah. Get any fish? Yeah.
All right, now you know the routine.
This particular trip, I learned a bunch of new techniques. It's been great. They're beautiful fish. I really enjoy knowing about them. Perch and walleye are fish that I get readily eaten in our house, and so do crappie. So it'll be great if I can start adding more crappie to that table fare. Oh, now that is a dandy. That might be the biggest crappie I've ever seen.
If you were gonna take God crappie fishing, you would take them to this lake.
This is
They're gorgeous, gorgeous fish. A lot of the hit I'll see in my line before I'll feel it on the rod. You'll just watch that line just straighten out just for a split second. They're just straight down. It ever looks so cool in the water. As soon as you hook them and they go from vertical to horizontal, you can just see that gold coloring. Ugh. They're all about cookie cutters, same size. Beauty. Nice.
See a keeper, yeah?
Yeah, throw them in. We can always cull later on. Whoop. Gotta hold them real close. And then he looks like a big one. Come on, fishies.
Crappie. Yeah. Oh, that is
There you go.
It's a nice fish. They're a beautiful fish, and they're nice size.
Turning into a pro now.
I don't think that, but at least I'm getting the hang of them a little bit.
It never ceases to amaze me about the connection that the outdoors really brings out in people. You can take two strangers and put them together, whether it be in a boat or a day in the field together, and common interests just have a way of coming out, and friendships have a way of being built. Being able to spend the last few days in the field with Al has definitely been an education experience for me to learn so much about what the MNRF is doing for the province of Ontario, and really how these wildlife officers invest their whole career in protecting our fish and our wildlife for all of our opportunities. To have Al come in and be successful on a turkey hunt, for me to show him the ropes and show him a few new things about crappie fishing, I've learned stuff, he's learned stuff, and that's just a winning combination. Whenever you have a chance to head out in the field with a new person, I suggest you do it, because you never know how strong of a friendship can be built.
The Canadian tradition has been brought to you by Ram. Built to serve. Cabela's, world's foremost outfitter. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Polaris, the world leader in off-road. Steel, get the job done. Winchester, the American legend. Leupold, be relentless. Toyo Tires, driven to perform. Lund Boats, the ultimate fishing experience. WeatherTech, nothing protects like WeatherTech. And by Ducks Unlimited Canada, our wetlands, our future.
Follow The Canadian Tradition on Facebook and make sure to visit thecanadiantradition.com for news, contests, and show recipes.